You probably think winter is just about cold nights, icy roads, and maybe a few snow days, but what if I told you there's something bigger happening behind the scenes? FEMA, the same agency that responds to hurricanes, floods, and national disasters, just updated their winter survival list. And here's the twist. It's not packed with expensive gadgets or futuristic tools. Nope, it's simple. Everyday items that most people overlook. But this year, these basics could be the only reason your home stays warm when the power grid gives out. Now, here's the part nobody wants to talk about. Extreme cold snaps aren't just coming. They're becoming harder to predict. One sudden blast of Arctic air, and boom, the grid is overloaded. We saw it in Texas. We saw it across the Midwest. Families stuck for days in freezing homes, desperate, burning furniture just to stay alive. And yet, FEMA's list isn't about panic. It's about preparation. Quiet, practical preparation, with items that actually work when everything else fails. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through 9 powerful cold weather essentials that line up with FEMA's recommendations. These aren't just nice-to-have gadgets. These could be the difference between sitting in the dark shivering or staying safe and warm until the power comes back. And here's the kicker. Chances are, you already have a few of these in your home right now. You just never realized how valuable they really are. Before we dive in, I want to hear from you. Have you noticed strange weather already this season? Higher heating bills, shorter grocery shelves, weird storms, because what's happening in your town might be a preview of what the rest of the country is about to face. Alright, let's start with number 9, the battery-powered heater. At first it sounds almost like a gimmick, right? A heater that runs on batteries. Too good to be true. But here's the truth. This isn't about heating an entire house. It's about keeping you alive and comfortable. Your body, your core. Think about it. When the power's out and that Arctic blast rolls in, a blanket alone won't cut it. You need targeted heat, and that's where devices like heated vests, rechargeable hand warmers, or even battery-powered blankets come in. Here's the trick. Tuck one of these under your jacket, wrap it inside your blanket, or slip it near your feet. You're not trying to warm a room, you're warming a person, and it works. One fully charged pack can give hours of direct warmth, even in total blackout. Maybe not enough to keep a whole house cozy, but enough to keep a person safe. And if you're smart about it, say sharing one battery pack between a family huddled under covers, you can stretch that heat even further. That's survival, not by luck, but by strategy. Shivering feels small at first, but it's more dangerous than it looks. The real threat of cold isn't loud, it's invisible. When the heat dies, you don't notice the danger creeping in until it's already inside you. Your core temperature slips degree by degree, and hypothermia begins without warning. No smell, no sound, just silence, until your body starts shutting down. But here's the turning point. Touch that warm battery in your pocket, or feel the steady heat from a vest against your chest, and suddenly the danger slows. You're not just surviving, you're taking back control. Experts are clear. A battery pack can't boil water or heat your whole house, but it can stabilize your body temperature. And sometimes that's all it takes to buy you the hours you need. Enough to wait out the storm, enough to make it through the night. So if you're preparing for the worst, don't skip this. Keep a heated vest, rechargeable hand warmers, or even a battery-powered blanket ready. Store extra packs and keep them charged, because when the lights go out, the battle isn't about heating a house, it's about keeping your body alive. Now let's move to number 8, heavy-duty blankets. Here's the truth. When your thermostat shuts off, your house doesn't just feel cold, it turns into a cave. The chill slips through the walls, pours in from the windows, and settles deep into your bones. And in that kind of darkness, a blanket isn't just comfort, it's armor. But not just any blanket, the kind your grandma trusted. Thick wool, dense weave, heavy enough to trap heat and hold it for hours. Forget the thin fleece throws, or the shiny foil blankets that crinkle and tear. We're talking about the real deal, wool or heavyweight synthetics built to last. Imagine this. Your power cuts out at midnight, and within hours your home drops 20 degrees. Most people panic. but you wrap yourself in a heavy-duty blanket. Your body heat radiates into those fibers. The air pockets hold it in, and suddenly the blanket becomes a shield. Even damp, wool keeps its warmth. Science proves it, and FEMA even includes warm blankets in their official emergency kit recommendations. But here's the danger. Not all blankets are equal. The everyday fleece you keep on the couch won't cut it. Thin layers let heat bleed away, and you don't even notice until fatigue sets in. Confusion follows. And if you're older or already weak, that drop can become deadly. A heavy blanket, on the other hand, fights silently. It holds the line until morning, or until help arrives. And the best part? These blankets are versatile. They can double as padding under a leaky window, as insulation on a cold floor, even as a makeshift shelter. In an emergency, style doesn't matter. Survival does. So when you prep for winter, don't just reach for softness. Reach for strength. Choose heavy duty. And that brings us to number 7. A cold weather enemy most people completely overlook. Your windows. Your windows. They look harmless, but in a blackout, they become giant holes leaking away your hard-earned warmth. Glass turns into a thermal trapdoor, sucking the heat from inside straight into the freezing night. And when your house loses heat, it's not just uncomfortable, it's dangerous. But our grandparents knew better. They didn't waste time patching floors or chasing small leaks. They went straight for the windows. Grandma would grab whatever she had. Old quilts, thick wool blankets, even folded cardboard, and press them tight against the frames. Sometimes she layered newspaper between cloth and glass. Sometimes she added reflective material to bounce heat back inside. The strategy was simple: trap the air, stop the draft, and lock in every ounce of warmth. And science proves she was right. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, tightly installed cellular shades or insulated covers can cut heat loss through windows by over 40%. That's an instant difference you'll feel in the middle of the night. A difference between waking up shivering or waking up safe. The scary part is, you don't notice the cold slipping through the glass right away. There's no sound, no warning, just a slow bleed of warmth, until your body temperature starts to drop. But block those windows, and suddenly the battlefield changes. What was once a weakness becomes a shield. Families who used heavy blankets, reflective panels, or even layered cardboard during blackouts stayed warmer, recovered faster, and kept their core temperatures stable when everyone else around them was freezing. So here's the truth. Don't chase space heaters first. Start with your windows. Cover them tight with whatever you've got: fabric, cardboard, reflective insulation. Because in a blackout, your walls won't save you. But your windows, if defended, can protect what matters most: your body heat. And if your grandmother ever taped a quilt or layered newspapers across the glass on a freezing night, share that memory in the comments with the phrase "window shield." That simple tip could help someone else survive their darkest, coldest night. Now let's move to number 6. And it's a serious one. Fuel-powered radiant heaters. Because when the silence of a dead furnace creeps in, and the cold starts crawling up your limbs, this might be the one thing standing between survival and despair. You switch on that ceramic radiant heater. At first, the air doesn't seem different, but your body knows before your brain does. Your chest loosens, your breathing steadies, and that tight grip of cold on your heart starts to release. Even the chairs pulled close seem to relax, as if the room itself sighs with relief. The transformation isn't just in the space, it's inside you. Your body begins to thaw, and with it, so does your hope. But let's pause for a dose of reality. Radiant heaters are powerful, but they demand respect. FEMA and the Consumer Product Safety Commission both warn that safety must come first. Place the heater only on a stable, flat surface. Keep anything flammable, like curtains, bedding, or clothes, at least 3 feet away. Ventilation is critical. Fuel must only be replaced once the unit is completely cool. And if you're buying one, choose a model with built-in safety features, like tip-over shutoffs and oxygen depletion sensor. Because with these heaters, one careless mistake doesn't mean discomfort, it means tragedy. And yet, when the grid is down, and the cold is pressing in, nothing feels more vital than this kind of heat. Radiant heat isn't flashy. It doesn't hum with electricity or glow with technology. It's raw. It's steady. It's fire turned into survival. When everything else fails, it's the flame that pushes back despair and reminds you that you're still alive. So if you're prepping for a winter that doesn't care about comfort, don't stop at candles or blankets. Add a fuel-powered radiant heater to your plan. Use it wisely, use it safely, and let it hold your core steady when nothing else can. And if your grandmother ever told stories about keeping the house alive with nothing but fire or fuel, share that memory in the comments with the phrase flame memory. Because sometimes, one old story can do more than keep heat alive. It can keep someone else alive too. Now let's move to number 5. Shelf-stable emergency food packs. Because even if you manage to stay warm, survival doesn't last long on an empty stomach. When you open your pantry in a blackout, you're not looking for comfort food. You're searching for survival. And here's the truth. If trucks stop running, if shelves go empty, those cans and packets you already have may be the last lifeline between you and hunger. That's why shelf-stable emergency food packs aren't just a nice backup. They're survival armor. We're not talking about stale snacks or expired cans collecting dust. These are meals designed to last for years. Freeze-dried kits, vacuum-sealed ration bars, retort pouches of soups, grains, proteins, foods that need no fridge, no power, and almost no effort. FEMA lists non-perishable food as a must-have for a reason. They're reliable when everything else fails. Some of the best emergency kits can last 25 years in storage. Think of that as insurance you can eat. Here's the beauty. When the grid collapses, simplicity matters most. These meals are lightweight, compact, and require little more than water to prepare. Many can even be eaten cold straight from the pack. No stove, no electricity. Just rip, mix, and survive. And if you're smart, you won't stash them all in one place. Keep some in a go bag, some in your pantry, and some hidden in containers throughout the house. Spread them out, because in a real emergency, peace of mind comes from knowing you're not down to your last can. But beware of the invisible danger. Hunger doesn't hit with alarms. It sneaks in. It shows up as weakness in your hands, fog in your mind, panic in your chest. That's when these packs change everything. While others are scraping empty cans, you're tearing open a pouch, adding water, and reclaiming your strength. In real disasters, families who had these foods reported staying nourished for days while relief trucks still hadn't arrived. That's not luck. That's preparation paying off. So don't just stock snacks. Stock survival. Rotate your supply once a year to keep freshness high. Choose scientifically sealed, nutrient-rich meals you can depend on when your body needs it most. Because when the storm stretches on, food isn't luxury, it's life. Now, let's move to number 4, the classic kerosene lamp. Because when the grid fails, it's not just the cold that creeps in, it's the darkness. And darkness has its own kind of danger. When the grid goes down, your kitchen becomes a museum of useless gadgets. The microwave sits silent, the stove won't click, and food that was once ready in seconds suddenly feels out of reach. But this is where the multi-fuel camping stove earns its place as a survival essential. This little stove isn't picky. It runs on propane, kerosene, alcohol, white gas, even wood if that's all you have. Set it up on a porch, balcony, or garage, with proper ventilation, and within minutes you've got flame, you've got heat, and you've got dinner in the making. And make no mistake, during a cold night, it's not just the calories that matter. It's the comfort of eating something hot when everything else around you feels frozen. That warmth in your stomach isn't just food. It's morale. It's hope. What makes these stoves genius is their portability. They were built for the backwoods and mountain trails. But they work just as well in a tiny city apartment when the lights are out. You don't need to be a prepper or a camper. All you need to know is how to strike a match. And while your neighbors are stuck with cold beans in a can, you're boiling water, frying eggs, and simmering broth like the blackout never happened. Here's the danger. Hunger doesn't hit like a storm. It creeps in. Your body weakens, your hands tremble, your head fogs, and suddenly even the thought of boiling water feels impossible. That's why reliable cooking heat isn't optional. It's survival. Fire is more than flame, it's strength. And the multi-fuel stove is fire that doesn't flinch. Now let's move to number 2. Something most people dismiss as a trendy accessory, the thermal insulated water bottle. But in the dead of winter, this simple bottle becomes one of the smartest survival tools you'll ever own. Number 2. The thermal insulated water bottle. When the temperature plummets, the real danger isn't outside, it's inside your body. You can layer up, huddle under blankets, even light a fire, but if your core temperature slips, your body starts shutting down. That's where a thermal insulated water bottle stops being a trendy accessory and becomes a silent survival tool. Here's why: warmth also starts from within. One hot drink can jumpstart circulation, stabilize your core, and give your body the signal it's not shutting down. But in a blackout, you can't just hit a kettle switch. That's why generations before us used steel thermoses under their blankets.